Hello, everyone. It's Amanda with the Content Marketing Institute. Thank you so much for joining us once again for today's live stream. You can find us here pretty much every Monday at noon Eastern. Today's live stream is Ask the CMWorld community. As I say every week, we have such a great community of influencers and experts, and we want to share their experience and insight with all of you. And if you don't know what the Content Marketing Institute does, we are the leading training and education organization for, you guessed it, all things content marketing. And we have our great signature event, Content Marketing World, which is actually hard to believe, 100 days away. So if you want to stay tuned, I'll give you a special code to save $100 on registration. This year we have both online and in-person options, which I'm super excited to get back in person for it. So if you're a newbie or a pro, there's something for everyone at Content Marketing World, and our early bird prices end at the end of the week. So this is a great week to register. You can find more info at contentmarketingworld.com. So as always, if you are joining us, you know, everyone, I love for you to drop us a note, say hello, and let us know where you are joining us from. So we actually, are going to try this. This is like take 2 on this live stream. We did it a couple of months ago, I think, already. But we have 1, such a great guest, and 2, such a great topic. We decided to try again with this. So I'm going to start today with the question of the day. Do you check social media when you are at work? I'm not going to ask how many times you check it. I'm just going to ask you if you check it. So that goes along with today's topic, which is social media in the workplace. While corporate social media accounts drive sales, and they are a great way to engage with audience, promote content, recruit your talent, employee advocates are a critical component for achieving social media's potential. People are actually 16 times more likely to read a post from a friend rather than a brand. So that's why brand advocates, your employees, have the potential to be great ambassadors on social media. So today we're going to chat about what you need to put into place to allow your team members thrive on social and hopefully help your brand out as well. All right. So I see Tracy is saying hello from Chicago. Again, if you're joining us, please drop us a line and let us know where you are joining us from. So let's get to our awesome guest. Erica Hild is a good friend of ours here at CMI. She's the founder of Erica Hild Marketing Consulting, where she and her team help organize, define, and execute content marketing strategies that drive business growth. So, hello, Erica. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming back. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's one of my favorite topics. And I'm joining from sunny and hot Sacramento in Northern California.
Awesome. All right, let's get right to it. Why should you encourage employees to actively participate in social media?
Well, you hit on part of it, and it really is that in this day and age, people don't necessarily trust brands, but they do trust their friends, their colleagues, and friends of friends. So when you can actually get your employees to be really excited about your company and to be sharing what you're doing on social in a really authentic manner, you're going to get so much more reach with your content. And that's especially true when you start talking about things like your executive thought leadership. Because I think we've all been in those situations where you've worked with an executive to get a piece of content created for them, and it goes out there into the world, and then even they don't share it. So when we're talking about the employee engagement, we're not even just talking about, your regular everyday employees, or even talking about the C-suite. Everybody you want to get engaged in my opinion, having really solid, encouraging social media guidelines is the way to make it clear why your company is on social, and let people know that you do want them to share the content, and just to kind of give them a little bit of help along the way.
And you just touched on it. So what elements are essential when you're going to build those social media guidelines for your employees?
Well, the first thing I always start with is making clear that we share like what the brand's purpose is for being on each one of the social channels. So, for instance, your company might be on Facebook primarily for job listings and career content, or you might be on LinkedIn for that purpose. But really making it clear to employees, first of all, why your company is on which social channels so they understand where they can kind of fit in and help work towards that purpose. The next thing I like to include is a little mini style guide. So, not like the huge style guide that I would use as a content creator in an organization, but something small that has things like here's the official name of this product. Here's, this is a registered or a trademark, and, please don't shorten this. Like those kinds of like really basic content style things that you need in order to protect the brand. And then the final thing that I like to share is to have a brand asset folder, because if you do not create a beautiful header with the logo or some templates with your brand logo that you let employees use, they will create their own. And you're probably not going to be that thrilled with how somebody creates, a logoed header in Microsoft Paint. That is not going to make your brand people happy.
No, you do not want to mess with your brand people. I know that firsthand. Our creative director, you do not want to mess with them.
Exactly.
So is it possible for employees to be their authentic selves on social media? I mean, how can you like enforce these guidelines while, not being too strict?
I think the key is to, hold some lunch and learns or some other kinds of conversations with those employees to let them know, hey, we're not trying to control what you say on social. We do want you to be yourselves, but giving them some guidelines about here's how we should behave. So, for instance, people can get really heated. And if you can give people coaching on, hey, if somebody says something terrible about the brand, don't engage with that person, flag it to corporate comms, or gives them some of those kinds of coping mechanisms around when you are tempted to say something that isn't very nice, walk away from the computer for a minute or two and then come back and ask yourself, would you actually say that to someone's face? So just kind of giving some of that support and coaching.
I think that is something every single person who has social media should do. Before you type, walk away and then come back. I know I do that. I've learned to do that and practice restraint so you don't say something.
And you can even type that really terrible, rude comment that you'd love to say and then erase it.
Mm-hmm. Or sometimes I have like a little extra, like a document that everything I really want to say, I like type in there and not put it on social media.
I love that.
So how can you make it easy for employees to share your content, share their stories on social?
Mm-hmm. I think it's about letting them know like what's new and available to share. So, for instance, I've done really cheap and easy email newsletters where every week we let folks know here's what's new and interesting, here's stuff you can share, and then throw in a little gamification where we also highlight somebody as being the social media advocate of the week. To get a little friendly competition going to recognize people that have been doing a great job sharing. We also frequently will do things like have a Twitter Slack integration, so that way people can easily see what we've just shared on social, so that way they can then amplify it and add on to it. And also just kind of walk people through what are some good ways to reshare content? Because you can just hit a retweet or you can just hit share on LinkedIn. But the way that you really garner engagement and reach, of course, is when you add a personal anecdote or you pull out a specific quote that really spoke to you or a piece of data. And so literally just walking people through and saying, here's some really authentic ways to add a little bit of yourself to this post and to give it more impact. Kind of giving people a menu of options and thinking about different ways to share on social. I found that to be very, very helpful.
And I love the contest idea. We've done that here in our company, the Content Marketing Institute, just offering like a gift card to somewhere to encourage people to promote your content. If you're just joining us, Erica Hild is talking about social media and the workplace. If you have a question for her, feel free to drop it in the comments. We'll go on to the next question I have here, which is, what if your brand leaders, the executives, are not sharing on social media? How can you kind of convince them to promote this culture of social and sharing on social?
I find that FOMO is really the best way to kind of deal with the situation. Because I have been in organizations where the senior executives kind of didn't think social was that important to their audience. So I really take a two-pronged approach. First, I show them that their audience 100% is on social by going in there and, doing some of the basics around, who's engaging with your competitors on social, who are the industry analysts and influencers that are on social. So showing them who is there, including current customers when possible, because you'll see customers amplifying your content. So sharing who those people are that are out there and already engaging, and then going into the ultimate FOMO, sharing, executives from other companies that have a really good following and say, well, so-and-so is the CEO of our biggest competitor, and they're able to answer people's tweets and to share when they're being interviewed or share their contributed content. Don't you want to at least be keeping up with them? They're showing you up. So, the competitive stuff works for your regular employees, and it 100% works for the C-suite, because you don't get into a leadership position if you don't have a little bit of competitive edge, right?
That's great. That's a perfect, exactly. I'm sure, that competitor is doing it. That's a great way to get them to participate. So do you think company-wide participation efforts should be required of all your employees?
I have worked someplace, and I will not name and shame, but let's just say I've worked with someone whose position on this topic was that if you are working for the company, if you are not willing to share all the content all the time across all your social channels, then you should leave. You shouldn't be working here. And I thought that was one of the most wrong-headed perspectives, because realistically, you want your content to be shared to the right people at the right time in the right manner. And let's say that you are an enterprise product and you're a very niche, very technical product. Is it really reasonable to be having your finance people sharing your completely non-related product on social? And further, it gets really bad to me when people are using some sort of social advocacy tool that allows everybody in the company to automatically agree to kind of spam out the exact same update across all of their social channels at the same time, because it's awful. And you can see it when you've worked with people at a company, for instance, and all of a sudden every day you get this barrage in your LinkedIn stream of everybody sharing the exact same, company update with the same language. And that's not going to get you anywhere. It might game the algorithm short term, but it's not going to actually help you reach your customers. And isn't that what the whole point is?
That's great. That's a great point, actually. All right, Erica, you have delivered some very great insight as always. So if people want to learn more about you, what's the best way to reach you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter. I'm SF Erica, SFERIKA, and I host Content Chat on Mondays at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. So later today on Twitter. So those are usually the best place. Twitter, basically. I live on Twitter.
And the Content Chat is excellent. So if you have not checked it out, I highly suggest that you do. I know Erica will be coming to Content Marketing World here coming up in September. So if you would like to join Erica and you can meet us both in person. I mean, I don't think I can think of a better incentive for people to come and meet us at Content Marketing World, right?
It's so much fun. It's basically this huge content marketing family reunion. And you may think to yourself, but I haven't even met you two ladies yet. But you will. And then you'll meet all these other people that you know from the internet. And it really will feel like your content marketing family reunion.
And then next year, it'll be even more like it, right? Because then you'll come back and then you'll see everybody again. So it really is a great experience. Yeah. So if you want to join us, there's a little code there, TW100 saves $100. You can find more at contentmarketingworld.com. I will see Erica in September. Thank you so much for joining us, Erica, with
Thanks
all your
for having
knowledge.
me.
And I will see you in September, and I will see everyone next time for our next live stream. Have a good one.